How often do you see the problem like people have anxiety, try to control sex, and then end up not doing it well?
Yeah, I mean it's a regular issue that I see in my work with men and people of all genders where they're really experiencing how anxiety impacts their sexual functioning. Oftentimes they have gone to doctors or urologists to get a physical workup, which I think is, the first thing you should do is just kind of it's a quick and easy sort of thing. And then they realize, oh, this is more about anxiety. This is more about kind of expectations I have of myself, pressure I have of myself, or my partner has of me, or I feel like society is saying that men should have sex in a certain way and perform in a certain way. And it may not actually work for who they are or their nervous system or what they like. And I found that over time, challenging those expectations or notions or narratives that they have to fit into a certain mold really helps them define for themselves what sex means and what pleasure means. And it
Uh,
takes time, but it's worth it.
right, right. So we all know, we possibly all experience this, that if we are anxious, you just tell them everything gonna be fine, it will be okay, don't
Mm.
worry. It never works, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what that does is that it's an understandable approach, right? You're trying to calm them down. You're trying to tell them like, hey, don't worry. But what it ends up happening is it minimizes their experience. For them, that anxiety is super real. It's very, as you experience with and work with sleep, it's very real and very present for them. And for us to be like, nah, don't worry about it. It creates this distance. There's they feel minimized and dismissed by it. So my approach is let's understand that anxiety. Let's really get as specific and accurate of a picture of what's going on as possible. And we're not and then the other thing that we do on top of that, which can be hard, is to not judge yourself while you're understanding. I have so many times people say, oh, I have this fear, and then they immediately say it's so stupid that I have that fear. And I say, hold on, let's just hear what the fear is first. We can think about it later, analyze it later, but let's just name what's going on for you. And I think starting there as a baseline is really, really important.
Oh, I love that. So kind of like people tend to self-criticism and brush away a lot of things,
Right.
right? And not really face the thing. They just say no to it immediately. But I like your approach to really help them label it, name it, sit with it a little bit. To
Yeah.
Yeah, even though it's a unpleasant experience, but it's important to look at.
Yeah.
And if they have partners, I can imagine, right? Because they are not confident in themselves, they have fear, they have anxiety, they
Right.
gonna say no to sex, and then that hurts the relationship, hurts the partner's feeling. The partner may interpret that as a, you know, loss of interest or as something going
Yeah.
wrong with the relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hear that so much. And that's when we can bring in, the couple into the therapy to talk about expectations and what the meaning is that each partner takes of the functioning issue. 'Cause so often the other partner, and it makes sense. It's very common, for the partner to feel like, oh no, is it something about me? Is it something about my attractiveness or sexiness or whatever? And in reality, it's about the person, what's going on in their own head. And they're very attracted to the person. And sometimes even the more attracted they are and the more important that relationship is, the higher the pressure is and the more the anxiety. So it becomes this double-edged sword to kind of work with.
Oh, that's interesting. That's so different than how we think about that, right? We think, well, if I'm so attracted to my partner, I love them so much, I should be able to function very well, but
Right.
they
Yeah.
probably function worse.